All right, let's talk about something we all think we understand, being socially skilled. But what if I told you we've been looking at it all wrong? Today, we're going to ditch the idea that the loudest person in the room is the most influential. We're diving into why the real power players are often the quietest.
So just for a second, picture it. You're at a work event, a party, whatever. Who's your eye drawn to as the socially skilled one? Is it the person holding court, telling all the big stories? Yeah, just get a picture of them in your head. Well, here's the twist. While we're all busy watching the loudest talker, psychology tells us to look somewhere else entirely. The person with the real social intelligence is probably the quietest observer. It turns out it's not about what you're putting out there, it's about what you're taking in. And that brings us to the main event, because the real superpower here isn't about performance, it's about perception. It's this almost invisible skill, and it's built on some really cool psychological ideas. Okay, so at the very core of all this is something called social cognition. The best way to think about this is like it's the social operating system running in your brain. It's all that background processing that's constantly helping you figure out what's really going on in a conversation without you even realizing it. It's the silent engine driving everything. So, if social cognition is the software, then this is where it gets its data. Micro-detail awareness. It's the ability to notice all those tiny, fleeting signals that people are giving off all the time. This is the superpower in action. It's about seeing the information that pretty much everyone else is missing. And these aren't some kind of psychic powers, right? We're talking about really tangible stuff. It's noticing that little tightening around someone's eyes that tells you their smile isn't genuine. It's hearing that split-second pause before they say yes to something. Or sensing someone's whole body language shift when a certain name is mentioned. It's all right there, if you're just paying attention. So how does this superpower of observation actually show up in the real world? Let's break down 3 specific traits you'll see in people who have mastered this quiet form of social intelligence. First up, we've got the very delicate art of kind honesty. Look, anyone can be brutally honest, that's easy, and it's lazy. But being honest in a way that actually helps someone instead of just hurting them, that takes a ton of social awareness. And this quote just nails it. The goal isn't to water down the truth until it's meaningless. It's about wrapping it in genuine care and respect so the other person can actually hear it and grow from it instead of just getting defensive. It all comes down to how it's done. It's knowing you don't have a tough conversation in the middle of a busy office. And here's the big takeaway, the technique you can use tomorrow. You focus on the behavior, not the person. So instead of saying, "You're so disorganized," which just feels like an attack, you say, "Hey, when the report was late, it pushed back our team's deadline." See the difference? It's about a specific action, which makes it constructive, not critical. All right, let's move on to trait number 2. And this is one that I think makes a lot of people squirm: accepting silence. Our natural instinct in a conversation is to panic and immediately fill any pause with anything. This is a massive mental shift. Instead of seeing silence as awkward or a sign that you failed, people with high social intelligence see it as an opportunity. It's breathing room. It's a space for someone to actually think about what you just said or to feel an emotion without being rushed. I mean, the difference is night and day, right? On one side, you've got this frantic energy, this nervous chatter to fill the void, and on the other, you have this calm, grounded presence. The socially intelligent person isn't just putting up with the silence. They're using it. They are intentionally creating space for a deeper conversation to happen. And finally, we've got our most advanced trait: contextual identity shifting. Now, I know that sounds super academic and complicated, but it's actually something we all do. It's the art of social adaptation. Now, before you say, "Oh, so it's just being fake," no, that's not it at all. This quote is perfect. It's not about being a different person. It's about being a fluent translator of who you are. You don't change your core beliefs or values, but you might change your language or your sense of humor to better connect with, say, your grandma versus your best friend. That's how it works in practice. First, you just observe. You read the room. Is the energy high or low? Are they cracking sarcastic jokes, or is it more formal? Step 2, you adjust your own approach, not to copy them, but to harmonize with them. And then finally, you use that adjustment to find a way to connect that's real and genuine. It's the difference between speaking a language fluently and just reading a few phrases out of a guidebook. So after going through all of this, what's the big takeaway? The goal here isn't to give you some kind of checklist of social tricks to perform. It's really about giving you a new lens,
a new way to see every single social interaction you have.
And this is really the bottom line. Real, lasting influence doesn't usually come from being in the spotlight. So often, it comes from the quiet corners of the room, from watching, from understanding, and from connecting in a much more deliberate way. It's a huge shift from trying to broadcast yourself to simply receiving the world around you.
So, I'll leave you with a little challenge. As you go about the rest of your day, in your next conversation, your next meeting, or even if you're just people watching at a coffee shop, what are the quiet details you're going to notice now? What's really happening just below the surface? I think you might be surprised by what you find.